All right, y'all. It's the season finale of Ambitions. Bittersweet for me because I love this show, and I'm the impatient reviewer, so I don't want to wait around. But we gotta do what we gotta do. So the episode picks up with Amara getting to the hospital, rushing in to see Titus. Excuse me, y'all. I'm still dealing with this cold. Rushing in to see Titus, she's greeted by a hospital worker. And side note, why in these movies and shows and everything, the hospital workers either are rude or don't have time or both? I used to work in a hospital when I was very young doing this exact same position, and trust me, it's not like that, because those nurses will get you all the way together if you don't tend to these families like that. So anyway, I just had to go on my little rant there. Amara gets there and she's told to wait until they get information about Titus or whatever. She flips out, which I would have too. The charge nurse, played by the lady from Sister Circle, comes up and tells her that Titus has been in surgery. His situation is touch and go, and she just has to wait. And Amara panics and says, well, you say this touch and go, that means he may not make it. I need to see my husband, but of course she can't go back there. Greg Peters and Darcia go to Thelma's place. And, Ashley Miller is somebody else who reviews this show. She said how good Greg Peters look, and I never got it until now. Maybe it's the darkness of the scene or something, but he looks real good right here. Anyway, him and Darcia go up and approach Rondell. They have some paperwork that states that Darcia has signed over her shares to Greg Peters, and she seems to have gotten a pretty penny for it. She's real confident and all uppity and turning her nose up to Rondell. Rondell reviews the paperwork, and she mentions that it couldn't be sold without her and Evan's signature. But Greg says that the doctors have determined that Senior was in his right mind when he signed over the shares to to Darcia. So they did it legally, in quotations. Greg is laying the law down, and he dismisses himself, and he proceeds to leave out the door. But Rondell says, well, how could you do this to me? You took everything. You killed my daddy, and now you want to take the restaurant? Like, this is messed up. Greg tells her, well, I didn't kill your father for the last time. And hey, I believe Greg. I'm still saying Stephen Carlisle killed Senior himself. So he said, I didn't kill your father, and that's that. I'm taking over. Rondell proceeds to spit in Greg's face. Let me tell y'all something. I would have laid Rondell out. Like, y'all remember that scene from The Color Purple when Miss Sophia got hit with that crowbar, whatever it was, and she was laid out? Rondell would have been laid out just like that if she was spitting in my face. That is so disgusting. Oh my, that was so disgusting. But I feel her pain, and she just, and he was holding it, and he was like, you could tell he was holding it in. And he told Rondell, he wiped that spit off, and he said, look, for future reference, I have the most shares in here, so that means any further subordination by staff. Yes, he called Rondell staff, girl. He called you the help. It will not be tolerated. I was like, I know that hurt. And Rondell is clearly upset, which we can understand. Evan gets home, and he is met by flying ball gowns. And he's wondering what's going on. He looks up to see the maid. The maid tells him, I was ordered by Mrs. Lancaster to throw these gowns away. And he gets a text message at the same time from Bella saying, you need to call me. But he walks in the dining room area, and Stephanie has a gun, and she pops one off into the wall that just misses Evan's head. And he's like, what's going on here? And Stephanie said, well, tell me why I shouldn't shoot you right between your eyes. And Evan is playing dumb, like, well, he doesn't know what's going on. But Stephanie said, well, perhaps Bella will come to see about you. So Evan knows what's going down. And he tries the old Jedi mind trick of saying, oh, you're going to believe those rumors? Stephanie ain't hearing that. She said, I had the little bastard tested. I'm not calling him a bastard. I think that's what she called him, so I'm just repeating it. So she said, I know he's yours. Y'all, Evan had this look like this guy here has really good. He's really good at emoting through his expressions and body language and all that. I really appreciate that about him as an actor. So he was like, look, Stephanie, you had no right to touch my child. He didn't say my child, but he said Joaquin is innocent in all this. Stephanie notices that he has an emotional reaction to the mention of this little boy. And she says that I wish you would have displayed as much care for our children as you do to him. And he said, look, Stephanie, I know you're hurt. Stephanie hits him with, I'm not hurt. I would have to care about you to be hurt. I would have to love you to be hurt. And they just trying to hurt each other. I believe that they do care with one another based on how they both react. But it's just this weird, like, they have this weird relationship. I don't get it. We see this sexy scene that comes on through the intro when Stephanie is dragging that gun across that table. I love that. I don't know why. And Evan's looking at her like, girl, wait, what you doing? Stephanie approaches him and she says, if you're really sorry about this, I know that you own most of Bella's company, so why don't you sign your shares over to me? Evan says, I can't do that. And it was then Stephanie knows that he does have feelings for Bella and this child. And you can tell she's upset about it, but she ain't never going to admit it. Stephanie she tells him, well, then we getting a divorce. It's over. Stephanie goes upstairs and retreats, and Evan seems to be contemplating about what just happened. And I don't get it. Like, do they actually love each other, or is this just an arranged marriage? We knew at the beginning that it was said that he was being groomed as this mayor and future governor, and Stephanie to be heading the law office. So I don't know. I don't know. Stephanie breaks down going up the stairs, but she doesn't let Evan see her cry. Back at Thelma's place, Rondell is talking to Darcia, and she's asking her why would she even do this, knowing how they grew up. They were family and raised to stick together. And Darcia hit her with, that's your problem. You always thinking about the past. I'm thinking about the future, cousin. And for once, I felt Darcia, maybe because they fixed her wig and pushed it back a little bit, but she was, Darcia had the issue with Rondell and Evan was that when her father passed, they weren't there for her. And she was like, I got a whole bunch of money, so I don't need family. So if you've ever been shunned by your family or an outcast or something, you realize you can't depend on them. So it's like, whatever, I got to do what I got to do for myself. So I understood Darcia a little bit, but I wouldn't be as far to do all this to my cousin after my uncle just got killed. And I'm wondering if Darcia knew that Senior was going to get killed, like if she had something to do with it too. But anyway, Darcia leaves, and I don't know if that's the last that we see about her, but as far as we know, she hightailing it back to Chi-Town. Mr. Carlisle, Stephen Carlisle, gets to his office and is greeting everyone, and then he's greeted by Stephanie sitting at his desk. Stephanie lets him know, Daddy, you better enjoy this desk while you can, because this office while you can, because this is mine. And he tells her, you think I'm going to just let you do this, and the Petroviches and all these people are not going to take too kindly to this exchange of power. So I don't know how you think you're going to pull this off, but I'm not just going to let you play me like this, is basically what he was saying. She gets a text message from Evan. Evan tells her to pay up, or the videos are being released to his pals at the DOJ. Mr. Carlisle notices that Stephanie has something bothering her. He was like, yeah, that's another one of your schemes. Like, girl, I think he said her arrogance is going to be her undoing, and it really is. So Amira, so sad. Amira is at the hospital, and she has Titus' phone and his suit and all his belongings, and she's there by herself. She gets a phone call, and the phone call is from Rondell. Rondell is looking for Titus to get some legal advice because she can't get in touch with Evan. And she said, I'm sorry, I guess I called the wrong number. Amara lets her know that she didn't call the wrong number, that Titus is in surgery and he's been in an accident. And Rondell says, girl, what do you need? I'm there. I'm coming. That's a good friend. I'm telling y'all, the good friends, when you going through something and they like, I'm coming, or maybe they don't want to cross boundaries, so they just like, what you need. The ones you got to watch out for is the ones that you like, girl, I'm going to pray for you. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened. Well, girl, I'm gonna talk to you later. Like, them the ones that ain't your real friends, but the ones that come and be like, I'm on my way. That's the ones you keep around. Anyway, at the Purifoy office, Lori and Hunter, and y'all, I would learn this man's name on the season finale. But anyway, Hunter and Lori are talking to the board members, and they are telling Hunter that he needs to step down. And it's the case has went to federal, and there's also some civil suits. So they are being at risk too. Like, their companies and their livelihood is at risk because of all of this that's going on with this lawsuit from Stephanie and them. And Hunter is, of course, disagreeing with this. Lori gets up and says, how is this going to be Purifoy Pharmaceuticals without a Purifoy at the head? But they ain't trying to hear that, and they tell him he got to go. Rondell gets to the hospital, and she has an overnight bag for Amara. She has everything Amara needs. She lets her know that you just focus on Titus, girl. I got you. They hug it out, and I love this scene. I love that. The doctor comes out, lets Amara know that Titus is out of surgery. He's still in bad condition, but he made it through the surgery and he wants to see her. Amara goes and sees my baby Titus. I'm so upset, but she goes and sees Titus. Y'all know how I feel about him. And he is just realizing that he's been in an accident. He's been hit. He's in the hospital. And Amara was like, yeah, you were in an accident. And Titus lets her know, no, it was not an accident. And right when he says that, he starts to cough or something, and the nurse comes in and makes Amara leave so they can tend to him. Back at the Carlisle mansion, I mean, this house was lit. I said, good God Almighty, like, who cleaned that up? That's a lot of cleaning up to do. Anyway, Mr. and Mrs. Carlisle are having a conversation about the Stephanie taking over, and we found out a little bit more about them. Now, Mr. Carlisle is saying that, I'm going to call her Irene. I think her first name is Irene. That Irene must be happy about this or enjoying the Stephanie taking over because he actually took the law firm from her father. I said, well, how'd that go? Like, how you marry a man who messed over your daddy like that? But I guess we'll find out more about that in the future, hopefully. So she said, no, why would you think that? Of course, I want Stephanie to take the reins. I think that it's time for her to do it, but not like this. I'm not in agreement with this. He's not buying it. And she lets him know, look, I just want us to focus on getting older and having time with our grandchildren and just enjoying our life. Like, you should just let it go. But he don't want to hear that. He kisses her, and it was a really sweet moment. I love this because we don't see this type of interaction between any of the couples except Amara and Titus. But this was real sweet to see them like that. But he walks up, and he's like, I'm not. Look, he doesn't confirm that he's going to retire. He doesn't deny that he doesn't say he's not. So she's left in a state of confusion, wondering what's going to happen. Damian is coming out of a bar or something, and he gets in his car and is met by somebody smothering him and making him pass out. Bella is at home with her mom, and I guess Bella said, let me tell my mama everything that's going on this time so I don't get fussed at. And her mom is pleading with her to move to Manhattan because Corazon has an office in Manhattan, and she even offers to move there with her and help her set up with Joaquin and help, take care of him and everything. Stephanie, this girl ain't got no coof, no coof, whatever. She runs her behind down to the hospital like she is the wife or a family member of Titus, then she up there demanded, oh, it's Titus, Oh, Lord. I said, girl, go sit your butt down. And Rondell at the vending machine, and she looked like, oh, I know she did not come up here. Rondell and Stephanie meet up, and Stephanie's asking about Titus, and then Amara comes out the back, and she says, he wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for you. You the one that caused this. And she said, you caused this by sending Damian to mess up me and my husband's life because you still want my husband. And Rondell like, wait, hold up. Who is Damian? Neither one of them answers. Stephanie doesn't even acknowledge that she knows Damian. Stephanie is very genius. And especially what she says here, she says, if that Damian is the cause of this, he'll get what's coming to him. But still does not acknowledge that she knows who Damian is. Very, very smart and cunning. All right, this was too funny to me. Mr. Carlisle gets over to Evan's office, and that secretary was out the way. She was like, boy, you're not going to elbow me in the head this time. He comes there to visit Evan and walks past, and their energy is different. They're very cordial this time. So I wonder, like, what changed? Maybe because Evan is just, like, over it with Stephanie, and he just don't have time for this. But Mr. Carlisle tells Evan that he needs to tame his wife and get him under control. Evan says, well, we may not be married for long, so I don't know what you want me to do about this. And Mr. Carlisle says this old man creepy lingo, what you been tomcatting around. I said, what is tomcatting? But anyway, he said, well, we all play around, at some point in our lives, even Stephanie. I said, oh, Mr. Carlisle, you wrong for that. You wrong. And Evan like, what you talking about? So he tells Evan that Stephanie been giving up the goods to Greg, so she can't talk about nobody. So they are in cahoots now with going against Stephanie. Stephanie is at a cabin, and she has Damian tied up, telling him that he better release those tapes or she is going to kill him. Damian is not buying that. She has him loosely tied up in these ropes where he could just easily shimmy out of those ropes. But he's like, you might as well call your boys because I know you ain't about that life. And Stephanie said, okay, try me because I got something for you. She had this taser, and she proceeds to shocking the crap out of Damian, even having him fall to the floor while she thoroughly enjoys it. Evan, with his well-manicured pretty hands and his wedding ring. Evan and his wedding ring, y'all hear me, by Bella's house, and they always drinking. Are they alcoholics? Because everybody always drinking. But he's by Bella's house in his white tee, chilling, and like everything is all good. I guess he said Stephanie knows, so we might as well just do the damn thing. But him and Bella are having a conversation about what Stephanie did and what she said. She said she was going to destroy Bella's life. And Evan said, I'm not going to let her do anything to you and Joaquin. I'm going to protect y'all by any means necessary. Bella isn't buying it. She tells Evan that her mother has suggested that she moves to Manhattan and is even going to help her. And that's what she's going to do. Evan says he's not letting her go without a fight. But Bella says, look, I'm leaving and there's nothing you can do about it. Back to the cabin, Stephanie's still jugging old Damian, giving it to him. And who pops up? Amara. This girl right here. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, she gets on my nerves sometimes. I love you, Amara, but you do too much, girl. Stephanie, what are you doing? And Stephanie, like, bitch, what you think I'm doing? I'm trying to kill this dude. See, if it would have been me, I would have saw what Stephanie was doing. I would have been like, oh, she handling my lightweight. Let me back out. I would have backed out of that thing. Like, the little meme with Homer Simpson when he backs up into the bushes. That's what I would have did and left out of there and let her proceed to kill Damian. But no, Amara says, I'm calling the police. But we all know Amara is a district attorney or something, so she can't just witness a murder and just let it go. But she shouldn't have showed her behind back up there. Stephanie pulls out the old manipulation tactics and says, well, before you came in here, he confessed to me that he did that to Titus. And Damian said, no, I didn't. And Amara comes over there, gets in Damian's face and asks him if he is responsible for Titus in an accident. Damian denies it. And Stephanie says, like, how he did it. And it's because of listen to the manipulation. It's because of your affair and your, how did she say it? His obsession with you, that this has happened to your husband. So she puts the guilt trip down on Amira. While she's doing that, Damian gets out of those little loosely tied ropes and he chokes Stephanie up. Amira runs to her help, but Damian knocks her down. And he had told Stephanie, and see, this is another time I would have walked my ass out of there. Like, whatever. But nope, not Amira. She gets the shovel and bangs Damian in the head with that. He falls to the ground. They both sitting there looking crazy. Stephanie goes and checks on Damian and says that he is no longer with us. Amira is horrified, and she tells Stephanie she has to call 911. Stephanie pleads with her and says that you think they're going to believe that this man that you had an affair with, that you just hit him by accident. Another great manipulation tactic by Stephanie, because she never says, look, I have your back. I'm going to help you with this or nothing. Like, I'm going to make sure it's going to be all right. She is basically telling Amira, you need to let me clean this up because I'm not helping you. But she doesn't say it in those words. Amira says, I'm not like you. I can't do this. Essence Atkins played the hell out of her part in this. Well, she does all the time, but especially on this last episode, she did it thoroughly throughout here. I'm so proud of her. I love it. Phenomenal job by all the actors and actresses on here, but I think Essence Atkins took the win for this episode. So Stephanie says, look, I have I'm going to help you. I have my boys are going to come clean us up. They'll never know that we were here. Amira still struggles with this, and she says that she can't do it. She has to call the authorities, but eventually Stephanie convinces her, because that guilt trip is placed on her, because Damian is somebody she's been involved with, how she's going to explain that. And she says, okay. I was like, girl, you so stupid. Does she not know about what happened with Marilyn? Because this is the same thing. Marilyn killed somebody. Stephanie cleaned it up. And this is what she holds over Marilyn's head. And I believe Stephanie does this on purpose. Clean up her friend's mess so she has some collateral. Stephanie regains her composure like the villain she is and calls up Rashid and said, we got a problem. And I need you to handle it. So back at the Pier 4 office, Lori, and the earrings too big for her head, is talking to her father, Hunter. And Hunter is getting drunk at the office on a Saturday, and he's depressed and feeling upset about what has happened with them losing that lawsuit. And I don't know if they're bankrupt or what. Lori calls a car service for him and says that her mother wants him to come home. But by the time she turns around, Hunter is going out the door. And I said, well, look at him. He kind of fine now. Anyway, he leaves out and he doesn't get in the car service. Back at Bella's, I think they're at her house, Olivia. If y'all don't know who Olivia is, look up 50 Cent song Magic Stick or Love and Hip Hop New York, like the earlier seasons. Speaking of that, I might review that because Chrissy's back and that's my baby. But anyway, this lady looks just like Olivia to me. She had this song that was popular called Biz Ounce and another song called December. Yeah, check her out. I did like her, but I didn't like her personality. Anyway, she's interviewing Bella, and Bella's talking about how she came from being an Instagram thought. I'm just playing, y'all. Instagram sensation. I guess this is how she started her business and marketing on Instagram, how she got from that to this deal she has with Corazon and all that. And Bella looks real good, fully dressed. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to shade this lady. She's a beautiful woman, but I just like this look on her. She looks really classy and gorgeous right here. So she says it's all because her son, Joaquin, was her inspiration. And she lets the cat out the bag that Joaquin is Mayor Lancaster's son. And Olivia, the reporter, is like, girl, what you say? What? And I thought that her mother was going to be like, no, don't do that. But it seems like her mother was in agreement with it. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to turn out. This interview isn't due to air until the next day, so we won't see the reaction till they come back. But Bella's feeling good about that, so we'll see what happens. Back at the hospital, Titus and Amara are visiting, and he tells her no one is ever going to come between us. And this is after she thinks she's killed Damian. Damian is she's telling him that Damian is not going to be a problem for them anymore. And Titus says, no, it wasn't Damian. And Amara is horrified by this, and she's saying, what? It wasn't Damian. But before he can get it out, he starts to seize. And y'all, the acting again by I think his name is Kendrick. I can't think of his last name, but by him, that it was, I'm telling you, it looks so real. And her screaming like that scream, it stuck with me. It still sticks with me. That's why I didn't want to put the images on here, because things like that, I'm sensitive, so it sticks with me. But that was so believable. I actually cried. Bravo, y'all. Good freaking job to the Ambitions cast on this one. But he starts to seize and he flatlines, so we don't know if Titus has made it out or if he has passed away or not. There is the retirement party that Stephanie is throwing for Mr. Carlisle to retire. Greg is there, and he has some kind of talk, he digging on Stephanie. And Stephanie said, the only thing that we're going to be making together is money. Get out my face. She spots Evan and is surprised that Evan is at the party because of their interactions before. And Evan says, now how you going? And they do that little thing where they smile, but they're really fussing. And he said, how you going to talk about me and Bella when you out here giving up the goods to old Greg? You out here tomcatting around too. And Stephanie hits him with, if you was doing what you was supposed to do, I wouldn't have to do that. I said, child, that's the worst thing you could tell a man. But anyway, back at the cabin, Rashid shows up and he finds out that there ain't nobody there, that Damian is gone. So he calls Stephanie and tells Stephanie, boss, we got a problem. But Stephanie doesn't answer, so he leaves a message on her answering machine. And then Damian comes and whacks him from behind. So we don't know what's up with Rashid. At the party, Greg and Evan are confronting with each other. And Greg says, yeah, now that I'm part owner of your restaurant. I'm thinking this is the first time Evan has heard this because he hasn't talked to Rondell yet. But he says, we're going to be seeing a lot more of each other, buddy. And Evan hits him with, that warehouse you got with your family and you do your illegal activity. Yeah, that one is being raided right now as we speak. And Greg panics and he goes and uses his phone and goes to check on that. Mr. Carlisle comes up and he is starting his speech and saying how he is happy about what has happened and all their victories and proud of his daughter and all these things. And Stephanie and her mom have these little fake smiles, and Stephanie's like, oh, yeah, it's so sad he has to retire. I'm like, oh, Stephanie, girl, you is a mess. So he's saying, I'm happy about all the things that we've accomplished, but I was going to retire, but I got this partnership with Marvin and Marilyn, whatever their last name is. And if the faces, the Stephanie and Miss Irene's face were priceless. They had that D look, and Evan over there smirking. And then, Marilyn already got it out for Stephanie. So he introduces this new partnership with Marvin and Marilyn and introduces them to the firm. And then he further hits them with Stephanie is going to step down. And everybody is looking all crazy, even your boy. Remember Mitch, he looking at Stephanie like, So he tells them that Stephanie is going to step down and she's going to focus on her role as First Lady. Y'all know that hit Stephanie in the ovaries because Stephanie does not just want to be no little First Lady. She wants to be powerful boss Stephanie. So he's stuck it to her. And where were the children? They didn't have Stephanie and Evan's children here. I would have thought they would have came down for a retirement party. But anyway, He after he gives that speech, everybody cheers it on, and he lets everybody know he ain't going nowhere. Bad boy for life. And Stephanie walks up to him and lets him know that, Daddy, you think you got one over on me, but it ain't gonna happen. I'm still gonna get to the top. Watch. She asked him how did he pull that off. He says that he knows that Marvin was having problems with somebody, then Marilyn was having the problems with her. So he took them, they did a little trade-off. So, it's always some kind of trickery going on with these rich folks. And he says, well, you could thank Evan for that. Evan tips that glass up to her. I was like, oh, Stephanie, girl. Oh, I know you just, poor thing. Stephanie looks at him like, oh, I should have shot your ass when I had the chance. And she tells her daddy that this isn't the end of it. And he kisses her on her head. Then Marilyn walks up on her. And Marilyn delivered the best line for the night. She said, I told you that I was going to pay you back. Consider this the first payment. I said, oh. And she said, laugh now, Marilyn, but rest assured that you teaming up with my father is not going to be good for you, honey. And while they're having this conversation, we hear, Stephen Carlisle! Hunter with that gruffy voice. And Mr. Carlisle said, how did he get in my house? Security. And what's taking security so long? And why doesn't he have his own security? Because the security he called out to was Evan's security. And we know he won short because Alex gone. And if we just see him, so why didn't he get him or somebody else tackle him? Everybody just standing around there looking. So Hunter goes on this whole rant about how Stephen took everything from him, from his daddy. Everything that his daddy built is all gone, and he has nothing now. And then he pulls out a gun and starts to blast, and everybody moves out the way. We're not sure if anyone was hit. We see that Stephanie is grabbed by Evan, which was so good. Wait, let me see. Was that a gunshot? Oh, no, that was a button. I was looking at this. It looked like a button or something. So Evan grabs Stephanie. So I'm like, maybe those two really do care about each other. I don't know. Weird. Or maybe he was just doing it off of the strength that's his children's mother. I don't know. So Hunter proceeds to shoot, and he shoots all the way down to the ground. Security finally, like that was the longest run across the room I ever seen. It looked like they weren't in a far distance from each other. So I don't know. But he brings Hunter down to the ground, and this is where the show ends. We don't see any aftermath of that. So I would like to know what y'all think. Look, thank y'all for sticking around, and the people who subscribe and commented, I'm going to get to those comments and everything soon. I started feeling under the weather, I started feeling under the weather and just dealing with a bunch of stuff with getting this up. But I appreciate y'all, and I want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think this show is going to be renewed? I hope it is, and I want to know if y'all think that Titus is going to make it. Personally, I don't think so, because when he was going out of it, he was going into this whole sequence of his life, reviewing the moments in his life. So I don't know. That's usually a bad sign. And I wonder how Amara is going to deal with that, especially thinking that she killed Damian too, and then Damian probably wasn't responsible for it. And how is Damian going to do it? And I'm actually happy that Damian is still alive, because he is there to get Stephanie under control, and Stephanie won't know because he probably killed Rashid. I'm not sure about that. Is Rashid still living? What's going to happen with Greg, Rondell, and Thelma's place? Is that the last we've seen of Darcy? Are they going to eventually uncover that Senior was in his right mind? How is Evan going to react to that when he finds out that Stephen Carlisle is part of this? Also, with having these doctors say that Senior was mentally competent. And Marilyn, how is Marilyn going to continue to pay Stephanie back? Is Stephanie going to stay the little Mrs. First Lady of Georgia, Evan's relationship with Bella too. So yeah, there's so many questions. So many questions. I may do some videos about that. In the future, I may review Love and Hip Hop New York because they brought Chrissy back, and I love Chrissy. For now, because you know they be acting crazy, so I might have to change that. Anyway, y'all, thank y'all for sticking around. Love y'all. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If I don't talk to y'all before then, bye.